Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBabeCrochet.com, and today we're going to make a dishcloth. These dishcloths are made out of 100% cotton. I'm going to be using some 4-ply, just regular cotton yarn. You can buy at any of your craft store, Walmart, or any places that sells yarn. And if you don't have, a small ball like this, if you have the remainder of the cone from a previous project on this YouTube channel, feel free to make use of that. Okay, let me give you a better view. Okay, these dishcloths are really tough. They may not hold their color forever, but they will last for years. They can actually be strong enough to scrub pots, believe it or not. And they hold up really well, go into the washer and dryer and wash very well. Okay, in addition to the yarn, you're also going to need a crochet hook, size H. This one is 5.00 millimeters. And I would highly recommend a yarn needle for hiding loose ends and a pair of scissors handy for cutting loose threads. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. By the way, this is an excellent project for either beginners or intermediate. We're going to be using the double crochet, and I'm going to be showing you how to work front and back post stitches. And I think you'll find these are not as complicated as the name sounds. Okay, we're going to start with our slip knot. And as in many crochet projects, we're going to start with a chain. So go ahead, I want you to chain 30 stitches. So I'll go ahead and chain my 30 chains and join you right back. Okay, now that I've got my chain of 30 stitches, we're going to begin by working a double crochet in the third chain from the hook. So that would be 1, 2, 3, that third chain. Go ahead and work a double crochet and work a double crochet in each chain across. Now I am just working through the side of one of the chains. I'm not working in the back bump because I just find that to be easier. We are going to go around the outside of the cloth when we're done with another stitch, and it's going to cover up the remaining foundation chain if you're worried about that. Okay, so go ahead and double crochet in each chain across. Okay, now that I've double crocheted in each chain across, I have a total of 28 double crochets plus the turning chain. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn. I'm going to chain 2, and this is where we begin front post and back post double crochets, and we're going to alternate them as we go. Now we're not going to crochet around this stitch since it's the end post, but we're going to begin with this post. We're going to wrap our stitch like we would for a double crochet, and instead of working in through the top loops, instead we're going to give this stitch a belt by bringing the hook around the stitch like so, and then completing the double crochet the way you normally would. That's a front post double crochet. Now we're going to alternate. We're going to come in the back door and give the next stitch a belt, but we're going to tie it in the back. We're going to complete that stitch at double crochet in back. Then we're going to alternate that front post double crochet, and then back post double crochet. And by doing this, we're going to be giving this cloth a lot of texture, which is going to be really good for scrubbing those dishes that have the stained on, baked on stuff. These really are tough enough to clean those things, believe it or not. Okay, so we're just going to alternate front post double crochet, back post double crochet all the way across, and then I will show you the end of the row. Okay, I've worked this all the way across, and I'm going to work the last stitch, which ends on a front post double crochet. And then we're going to work a half double crochet, which is formed like this. You wrap the hook, you're going to stick it in that chain 2 space, pull up a loop like you would for a double crochet, but unlike the double crochet, we just wrap the hook and pull through all 3 loops on the crochet hook. Go ahead and give it a chain 2. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to start with by not using this stitch, the end stitch, and then we're going to work a front post double crochet and then a back post double crochet. And one thing you're going to notice is that it's going to be reverse of what we did the first time. Okay, if it's, for example, as I'm working this stitch here, since this was a back post double crochet, well then we're going to work it as a front post now. And since this was a front post, we're going to work that as a back post double crochet. So work the opposite of what we did in the first row. Okay, but as you're doing this, you're going to notice that each row is started the exact same way. So I'll go ahead and finish this row. This row is ended the same way as the last one, with a front post double crochet and then a half double crochet worked through that chain 2 space. Okay, let's chain 2 and let's see what we have. This is what you should have, and it is reversible. The texture is going to be the same on both sides. Okay, I'm going to start the next row, which again is the same. So we're going to continue doing the same thing. Front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet, and back post double crochet. We're going to do this until the height of this is equal to the width. And let me show you how you can check this. When you're crocheting, if you can take one corner and bring it to the other corner, and if you get a triangle like this, then you know that it is as tall as it is wide. So do this stitch all the way across, starting with the front post double crochet, then back post double crochet, just like I've shown you twice. Do that until this piece is a square. Okay, I have worked my row back and forth. I have a total of 16 rows, and it is very much, I folded corner to corner, so I very much have a square here. So now I'm ready to do the 2 final rounds. Now these are going to be rounds. They're going to actually go around the perimeter of our cloth here. Okay, so let's go ahead, chain 1. Let's turn. And we are simply going to, for this first round, we're going to work a single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and work single crochets across the top, and then I'll show you what to do once you reach the corner. After I finished going all the way across, I've come to the last stitch. I'm going to turn my work 90 degrees. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to single crochet in that same place as the last single crochet, and that kind of forms a nice little corner. Okay, now I'm going to work along the edge of the rows, and we're just going to work our single crochets as evenly as we can. I'm going to work approximately 3 single crochets for every 2 rows. Okay. This is a little bit tricky, especially with the cotton, but we want to work them so that they are evenly placed. Okay, I finished working across the row ends, and you can see that's fairly even. And I do have, for this, the stitch count for you from the first corner stitch all the way across. I have a total of 24 single crochets. Okay, now we're going to turn 90 degrees again, chain 2. We're going to single crochet in the same place where the last stitch was placed, and then we're going to crochet in the foundation chain. Okay, now I'm going to go opposite where I see the stitch that was worked in the foundation round, or row rather, and then I'm just going to put my hook right there opposite, and I'm going to be crocheting over the 2 strands of that foundation chain. And I'm also crocheting over this strand just to go ahead and hide it, make sure it doesn't get caught up in your crochet work there. Okay, so this just kind of gives me one less strand to hide when I'm finishing up the project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and crochet along this foundation chain, and then I'll show you the corner. After working in all the stitches along the foundation chain, on the opposite side of the foundation chain I should say, I'm going to turn 90 degrees again to work across the last side that hasn't been completed. Chain 2, And then I'm going to put my first single crochet in the same place as the last single crochet to form that corner. Pull up some yarn, and I'm just going to continue what I did before. I'm going to work approximately 3 stitches for every 2 row ends, or two row ends. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will double check the stitches to make sure that I have 24 stitches worked evenly along this side so that it matches the other side. Okay, I finished working along the other side of the row ends, and I do have 24 stitches, starting with the first stitch here in the corner all the way to the last stitch of the corner. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to join to that very first single crochet of this round with a slip stitch. Let me go ahead and do that slowly in case some of you have never seen the slip stitch. Stick the hook in, pull the loop through, and pull the loop through, just like that. Now we're going to do something a little kind of crazy. This is a little more of a complicated stitch, but if you don't think about it, it might not be so bad. I've actually had beginners who've picked this up without even thinking about it and have been very successful. And on the opposite end, I've even known some excellent crocheters who just can't get their head wrapped around it because of all their experience of crocheting. The idea of crocheting backwards just never quite got settled with them. Anyway, so we're going to chain 1, and this is what we're going to do. This is called the knurl stitch, or the reverse single crochet. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the motions of a single crochet, but we're going to do it in the opposite direction that you're used to crocheting. If you're watching the right-handed version, it'll be going from left to right. And if you're watching the left-handed version, it'll be going from right to left. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We stick our hook in. I'm going to start with that corner and pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, and I'm going to turn a little bit, because I'm going to do another stitch in that corner. I'm going to have you work 2 knurl stitches in the same place. Okay, so we've worked 2 in the corner. I know that's an awkward way to start. Okay, now we're going to start working in the single crochets. We just go to the opposite side that we're used to, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Try not to manipulate the strands. If you try to manipulate the strands, I promise it's going to drive you crazy. So just let the strands fall where they may. Put it in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now I've done this many times, so I'm used to the way this stitch looks and the way it feels. The muscle memory has been solidified for me many times over. But if you're doing this for the first time, do go slowly, but let the strands fall. And see how you do. If it doesn't come out beautiful and perfect, don't worry about it. It's just a dishcloth. It's not going to be something, to frame or anything. It's going to be something to scrub pots and pans. So it's a great way to learn and to practice all of these stitches, really. Okay, so go ahead and do that knurl stitch, or that reverse single crochet, all the way to the corner. I'll go ahead and stick with you to the corner. And when we get to the corner, we're going to put 2 of these stitches in that chain 2 space. And it is a little bit stiff using this cotton. It flows a little more easily if you're using other type of natural fibers or even acrylics. Okay, so now I get to the corner. I'm going to put 2 of these stitches in the corner, and I'm going to turn 90 degrees, and I just keep going. 1 in each stitch. Okay, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to just take a look at this with you. And this is what the stitch looks like. Okay, so this really does have a front side. Okay, So I'm going to go ahead and finish this all the way around, putting 1 knurl stitch in each single crochet, and then when I get to the corners, work 2 in the chain 2 space. Okay, after working this reverse single crochet all the way around, now this is a little tricky. This is the first stitch where I worked right here, so I'm not going to work another stitch in this stitch, but rather I'm going to join with a slip stitch just carefully to that first stitch, like so. Now I can fasten off if I'd like, or if I'd want to, I can add a little chain. I'm going to go ahead and chain 8 chains if I wanted to make a loop to hang the dishcloth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to join this with a slip stitch just like this. Okay, and I'm going to give it a chain again, pull it tightly, and I'm going to cut the string, leaving a nice long 4 to 5 inch minimum strand. Okay, so I can actually hang this up to dry should I like to. Now I'm going to need to do something with this strand. Okay, I'd like to hide this, so I'm going to use my yarn needle. I'm going to go ahead and thread that needle, and let's go ahead and move towards the back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run it through the stitches, or actually underneath, to try to conceal the thread, just along the border stitches, just like that. Okay, I'm going to go run it under some more. I really like to hide these stitches well. I don't want them to pop out again or reveal themselves. So okay, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to take my scissors and very carefully give it a cut and then give it a tug. Okay, let's take a look at our finished product. We are all done. This took me less than an hour to do. I would give yourself maybe an hour, but these are really easy to make up if you need a small gift for gift giving for many different occasions. And this now ends our tutorial. If you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button and you won't miss any more of the new videos that I have coming your way each week. God bless. Bye-bye.